Okay guys, I know I'm saying this often, I know it may sound fake to a lot of people when I say this, but it's not. And believe me when I say that this new game right here, called Anvil Empires, just became one of my most anticipated game of whatever year it releases, and I was not ready for that twist. I've been waiting for ages for a game like this, and one better developer to work on it than these guys. Okay, so the announcement trailer of this new game starts off pretty normal. I mean, the graphics looks great, the environments are detailed, the building, crafting and etc. look pretty interesting. At first it looks like a classic strategy building game that we see a lot these days, nothing really unique, but then it says prepare for war. Now it's got a little bit more of my attention, with massive troops advancing into enemy territory, getting ready to wage war on two other castles and empires. Then it says every soldier is a player. Every single person that we're seeing in this trailer is an online player, either building, crafting, going to war and so on. Now you're probably telling yourself, how will it even work? How is that even possible for a random game like this to succeed with this idea? Then I got to see who were the developers working on this game. These are the creators of Foxhole, which is a massively popular multiplayer World War game where thousands of players shape the outcome of a persistent online war. It's a really successful game. Every individual soldier is a player that contributes to the war effort through logistics, base building, reconnaissance, combat, and more in that Foxhole game. Players in this game can literally build factories to keep economy rolling, build trains that go to war to provide players with weapons and loot, people can drive vehicles with other players in it, and so much more. Foxhole is a game I have been playing for such a long time, and it is one of the best all-out war games that I have ever seen. It's like PlanetSide 2 but 1,000 times bigger and with more gameplay elements. If you guys have played Foxhole, I feel you know what I'm talking about. Well, these developers are now working on the medieval all-out war game called Anvil Empires, and I couldn't be more excited for it, especially after reading its details I'm gonna go over right now. Anvil Empires is a large-scale game of conquest played by thousands in a persistent online world. Players will take on the role of an individual citizen and build towns, form empires, and ultimately wage war in ages that last weeks at a time. Wars are won not only through strength of arms, but by having a strong economy and supply chain to feed armies of players. The conflict is fully driven by player actions and takes place in an organic world with no safe zones or artificial barriers to PvP. While Anvil Empires will share many elements with Foxhole, including a persistent world, sandbox gameplay, mass collaboration, and a cog in the wheel player's perspective, it will also be very different than other areas. There will be a bigger emphasis on settlement building, and the conflict will support an order of magnitude with more players, allowing up to 1,000 players to march alongside each other on the battlefield. The game will include an extremely huge world called Caligo, a land that once birthed an enlightened people who represented the pinnacle of civilization. It now finds itself a canvas for bloodshed and conquest. Players will take control of 3 different factions, fighting for everything in this world. 3 desperate alliances vie for control of Caligo's land and resources. The industrious Novan Remnant return to long-abandoned outposts in a bid to reclaim their lost failure. You also have the displaced Aranic, savage pagans of the south, forced to flee their storm-shattered islands, find hope on Caligo's shores. You also have the Mirish, blood of the ancient steel themselves, with the will of their Caligan ancestors to defend their sacred land from the unworthy. This isolated continent holds an array of deadly creatures and bountiful features, from craggy islands to swaths of verdant field. North Estria's dense forests unfurl into the murky mires of Lizinger. There's also gonna be creatures in this game that you'll have to be careful, and little secrets in the world. Anvil Empires is targeted to support 1,000 players within a dense battle and many more thousands across a large persistent online world. Many massively played PvP games either support a small number of combatants on the same dense battlefield or a large number of players spread out across a large map. In this game though, the goal is to support the best of both, with up to 1,000 players marching shoulder to shoulder in a dense environment, which sounds really cool. The game's pre-alpha will be starting this April with playtest sessions to see how well the game runs and to further analyze the game's stability. I'm really excited for this game, man. This is such a surprise announcement for me. For more on Anvil Empires, like the video right now and subscribe.